Hello, I am Lillian Gina Quinones, and I am your Theater PLC leader. And just really excited to introduce myself to you all today. I am a theater educator in the state of Georgia in the metro area. I'm in the Atlanta metro area. And here's a little bit about myself. Um, I love this quote by Paulo Coelho. It says that profound commitment to a dream does not confine or constrain, it liberates. Even a difficult, winding path can lead to your goal if you follow it to the end. And I like to talk about my path as a windy trail because I've kind of taken some unconventional routes to where I am professionally. But I find that all of the stops on my journey have informed the way that I teach and how I approach my work with students and colleagues and as an artist. So here's a little bit about my winding path. Let's move my little bubble so that you can see. I'm the oldest of two children, and that is my fabulous late 80s family portrait. My father was actually, fun fact, my father was, and still is to this day, a pretty well known, famous Latin American singer. Still travels all over the world playing merengue music. And so um, music was never far away. Um, the world of entertainment was never far away. We were a family who lived in the public, and being an artist was always encouraged in my home. So I was blessed with a bit of an unconventional upbringing, but a very loving family, and really fortunate that I've never had to fight being an artist. It's always been something that was really embraced and has always been part of who I am. So I discovered musical theater in the seventh grade. This is a picture of City Honors, where I went to school in Buffalo, New York. Go Bills. um, I participated there. If there was a performing art thing to participate in at school, I was there. So and I just have never forgotten what that feels like as a young person. I always kind of can still relate to all of the theater kids that stay at school till 6 and 7 and 8 p.m. at night because I remember what that was like. I participated in theater, chorus, gospel choir, concert band, marching band. I also took dance classes and everything there was to do in the world of performing arts. I just really, really, really enjoyed it. Um, I'll talk a little bit more about where that took me in just a little while when I talk about my education. This is my lovely and wonderful family. We live in Metro Atlanta, and I have three gorgeous daughters that used to be little and now they're big. And that is my dog, Chico. Um, we kind of have taken the reins from my family growing up and continued that legacy of being a very musical family. Um, my children play multiple instruments. They all sing. My husband is a drummer and percussionist. He travels, well, when there wasn't a pandemic, traveled quite a bit playing music. And I, of course, am a theater artist and singer. Um, it's something that has really, really kept us going during this pandemic to be able to just make music at home and make videos and write songs and all of that kind of thing is something that has kept us really from having a hard time with this pandemic. So that's it. That is my family. We are all of my children are still home, and Chico is my assistant pretty much on a regular basis. Besides, obviously, besides the obvious making music, we do love to go outside. We once upon a time loved to go on cruises, and we will take just any opportunity to go to the beach. That is our go-to. If we can't go on an extravagant vacation, because that's not always available, if we can just drive to a beach, just give the Quinones family an ocean, and we are happy, happy campers. So, as a professional and artist, um, I'm going to move my bubble around again just a little bit here. Um, I work in the theater world in Atlanta. Theater is very robust here in the city of Atlanta. We have lots of regional theaters and semi-professional theaters that just really produce great work. And when we were still doing this live, I really enjoyed working for various theaters throughout the area. Um, as you can see, my wheelhouse as a performer has been musical theater mostly for many years, as I was a singer first, who then went on to musical theater training and that kind of thing. So I do a lot of musicals. I still say it in the present tense because I really hope that we will get back to live theater very, very soon, sooner than later. But this is part of what keeps me going as an artist. I also have representation with a local film and TV agency and do some commercial work. So I think that part of also what informs my approach to working with students is my contact with professional theater and my contact with professional film and TV, and kind of having my finger on the pulse of how the industry is shifting and changing. I think that that's really important. It kind of helps me stay fresh and relevant and makes me always kind of feel like I'm on a learning curve. So my learning curve is always going to kind of keep me on that edge of being able to challenge my students. So that's part of why I continue to, you know, push and make the effort to keep these performances and things on my schedule. Though, as you know, as a theater teacher, our life is quite busy at school. It's always really important for me to keep my artistic life alive outside of that. Um, okay, next, a little bit about my windy path in education. So, I am again from Buffalo, New York, and I first went and started my undergrad at Niagara University, which, as the name denotes, is in Niagara Falls, New York. I was a theater major there at Niagara University, and then I moved on to a local SUNY school, one of our state colleges, to complete my degree. So I have my undergrad in theater and arts administration. So a lot of the work that I did in my early part of my career was um, grant writing and nonprofit and that kind of thing. But also have always had a place for teaching. So even when I wasn't teaching full time, I was always working as a teaching artist. I actually genuinely love kids, which is helpful when you're in this profession. Um, Fast forward about 20 years. I since have moved to Georgia. I've been here for a decade and found myself kind of ready to move on to the next step. My young children had gotten a little bit older, and I decided to go back and get my master's in education in theater education at Columbus State University. And that is actually a recent development. So I graduated in 2020, yay me. um, quite the feat in the middle of this global pandemic. But amazing, wonderful program that I think has added a lot to my work as a theater educator. Hmm. So, my teaching experience goes way back to my teaching artist days in Buffalo. I worked for the Arts and Education Institute, which was a satellite of the Lincoln Center Institute in New York City. And we worked in aesthetic education. So kind of your typical teaching artist arts ed program where we would go into schools and do various performing arts programs and take um, schools and students on field trips, prepare them to learn how to kind of watch and appreciate theater. I did that for several years. And then when I moved to Atlanta, I found myself wanting to do that full time. For many years, it was the artist who also taught, right? When I moved here, I found this wonderful school. These are pictures from my time at Trinity School in Atlanta. It's a private elementary school, and they took me on to be their Spanish teacher, and I was there as a Spanish teacher for several years. So all of my years as a teaching artist, I taught young children. I taught mostly kindergarten and first grade students. That was my area. That's what that's all I did. For 13 years, I taught um, this this wonderful age group. Um, and during my time at this school, I taught Spanish. And I'm just taking a moment to take in these photos because it really was a fun time. One of the kind of cornerstones of my approach as a teacher is always to give opportunities for students to perform and engage and play and play and play and play. And even as I transition to talking to my work as a high school educator, it is how do we get kids to engage on a from a full level, completely um, mind, body engagement. And I think play is a big part of that. I think music is a big part of that. Um, I we find that the best way to learn a language is by singing. So we sang, we played guitar, we played games. Um, it was a really lovely time. And um, we also we also did quite a bit of performing as a young group of Spanish speakers. So, assemblies, they always had an opportunity to sing and do their skits and all of that. So, another fast forward, I decide I'm going to transition from my 13 years in early elementary education. I make a huge flip all the way to high school. And that's where I find myself now. I've been at North Atlanta High School for the last several years, and um, our program is very dynamic. It's diverse in the sense not just culturally and ethnically speaking, but diverse artistically and diverse in terms of voice and the ability for students to explore quite a bit of different perspectives and approaches and uh, sources of kind of entry into the world of theater. So a few pictures that I have here just to give you the highlights. Um, top, I guess it's my left. So top left, we have a um, monologue series where the students in the advanced acting classes prepare monologues and they perform them in the black box. It's a very pared down, simple event that's focused on the actor and focused on their process. They get to perform, talk about their process, receive peer feedback. We I do a lot of work with my students on how to give feedback, how to ask questions, and um, how to be engaged and active audience members. And it's a really nice forum for students to observe and analyze what somebody else is doing, but also for the student who's performing to receive feedback from their peers and then take that back to their process and use it as a way for them to grow. Um, the other picture is one of our annual performances. We have a lot of performances at our school, and our fine arts department is very dynamic and close knit. So we do a lot of things together. This is a performance where some of the theater and dance students are performing at the Black History Month program. We also launched last year a TYA, Theater for Young Audiences troupe that traveled to a couple of elementary schools. And that's bottom with the jeans and the bright color tops. They that was our first time doing that. It was really a lovely experience. That performance happened to be on March 11th, 2 days before our last day of school. So nostalgic to look at it. And then we have our annual musical. And now we're here. We are in virtual theater land. We are on Zoom every day. We are still in our district, still happen to be completely virtual. We haven't gone face to face yet. So everything has happened online. We've got like props and costume pieces and all kinds of storytelling and games and virtual shows all happening online. I will say that has been a huge learning curve, but in many ways has been extremely rewarding and has shown me some things that I didn't know students at this age were capable of. They've taken some really incredible leadership opportunities and ran with them. So that segues me into kind of some of the highlights. All right. I'll show you a little bit of some live theater rehearsal, and then I will end my introduction showing you some of the virtual theater that we were able to create this year. Good. I'm all smiles remembering being in person with my students. We partner with local artists a lot. Is something that has become a cornerstone of our program at our school. So that was our choreographer, community choreographer from the theater community here in Atlanta. This is from the same show. This is some rehearsal that was happening on stage. And we are fortunate to be able to partner with the band program for our shows. So what you see in the back, those are our band students playing. We chose for this show to put them on stage instead of putting them in the orchestra pit. And this is our last and most recent work. This is again completely filmed, and this one was edited by these students as well. The scene was written originally by them, and this is another partnership with a local artist. And I will wrap it up with this one, and then we'll say goodbye.
Hey, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Just need some air. Thank you for inviting me. I needed to get out of the house.
It's no problem. I know how it feels to just want to stay at home, not wanting to do anything. My girlfriend got me last summer. I stayed at home for weeks, watching Dirty Dancing and eating ramen noodles. Sometimes it helps when I talk about it.
Yeah, well, I'm not really a talker.
I get it.
Life for me, it hasn't been easy. My whole world came crumbling down. My father was paralyzed, and losing him made me realize you have to pretend to be strong, 'cause life keeps moving on. I wanna dream in the stars, I wanna show my scars, I wanna bare my soul and finally be whole. I wanna run to let go, I want someone to know that they alone are my all. I want someone to catch me when I fall.
Just like you, life was never easy. My old man, he hurt us all. He burned cigarettes in my hand, told me to suck it up and be a man. Because of him, I wear a mask to keep all my pain in the past. I want glory and fame, a household name. I want a partner in crime, someone who is mine. I want to conquer the world with that special girl. And if she were ever to fall, I would be the one to help her through it all. I never told anyone that before.
Me neither. I wanna live life like I'm supposed to. When the rubble falls on me, I'll push through and finally be happy. I took a chance on tonight, never thought that I might be standing here with this view, with someone like you. So let's dream of the stars and show all of our scars. And if you were ever to fall, I would be the one to help you through it all.
Whoa.
Whoa.
I'll catch you if you fall.
Well, thank you so much. As they say in social media land, thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk. I really, really look forward to getting to know folks and working through some of the learnings that we have to do over the next few months. And just thank you for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you soon. Bye.